Good afternoon, Ben. How are you today?
Afternoon.
Right. So last week you had everyone on the edge of their seat at the end of the game. I see on social media that we've had a huge amount of feedback about people saying they've lost their nails and their hearts are in bad condition after the end of the last game. So just want to tell us a little bit about the game that took place on Saturday.
Yeah, it was an emotional one, that's for sure. It was a game again. We started really well. We got to 19-0 and we looked pretty comfortable. But as we have been for most of this season, we like to keep people on the edge of their seats, including me. I'm getting greyer by the minute and by the day watching our fellas. But like you said, it was a nail biter. We struggled a little bit in the second half, which is down to Rotherham playing a lot better. Second half, they came out firing. We made a couple of errors. They scored a fantastic try, chip and chase try, which was outstanding. So it was game on with 5 minutes to go, and then our scrum had been brilliant all game, and they turned us over at the scrum, and they sneaked in for a try and popped over a difficult kick, and you're thinking, here we go again.
Looked like it all over at that point.
Yeah. We've been sat there with the previous two games thinking, well, we're going to lose another one here. But for credit to our boys, their 22 dropout after a penalty, we managed to regather. Our kick chase has been very good this season, so we managed to get the ball back. Then we handed them the ball back again, and somehow I think it was Dan Paul managed to make a great tackle, and they put it into touch, and we launched from one of our lineouts, and Josh Gelsey, who had an outstanding game, broke through the middle, and then Millsy buried himself over to get what was a much deserved win, but it was the emotion of it was pretty epic, and not what we want to be going through every week, but I'm sure the neutrals and people coming to Brickfields are enjoying it, and it was nice to get on the end of a win last week.
That tenacity they showed at the end of the game was incredible. You know, the crowd got behind them. You know, there was a lot of noise. You know, I've had noise like that at the end of a game here for a long time, but the tenacity the boys showed. Yeah. I mean, does that show the supporters what sort of team is gelling together now?
Yeah, I think so. It's that work ethic and that wanting to work for each other is there, and it's growing each week, and that's through what we're doing on our Monday, Tuesday and Thursday sessions. We're not resting on our laurels. We know we're a good team. We're just trying to piece things together, and like you said, to show that tenacity at the end is fantastic. And this is what this league's going to be this year. If you look, I think I said last week, if you look around the results in the league, it's going one score either way. There's not many teams getting away from each other. So it's we've got to be an 80-minute team, 85-minute team, and it proved at the weekend that with what James Earp's been doing, that we've managed to stick in there right to the death and sneak a win. Yeah,
and you've mentioned there about your training on the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and you also, rightly point out James Earp's work there as well. Something that is obviously noticeably different this year is we were suffering sort of individual injuries at the beginning of last season, and this season we are injury free still. So what is it that's happening behind the scenes that's a bit different this year, Ben?
So injury wise, there's a bit of luck attached to it, but we're trying to look after the guys individually. Like I said, James Earp's doing a great job, but we've also got a great medical team involved, and obviously with Gareth Steenson and Carl Rimmer coming down and using their expertise from the level of 2 levels above. Our boys need to be used to contact. Okay, and we do a fair bit of it in training, but we do it in small doses, so people become more robust to taking contact. And we did look after them in pre-season because we sort of built them around not being as contact orientated as maybe previously. So we've built it in slowly. And although Saturday, saying that we're battered and bruised, and we've had an easier week this week due to that, because we've got a long trip today for tomorrow's game. So we've looked after the boys relatively well this week, and we're looking forward to a game on Saturday.
Well, that's great news. So on to this week's game. Old Elthamians this weekend, away tomorrow, up there in sort of southeast London area. Now, interesting, Old Elthamians. They've had mixed bag themselves this season, winning the first game of the season, subsequently losing the next 2. And also looking back at our results against Old Elthamians last year. Sorry for so many questions in one go, but looking back to that as well, we lost both games against them, home and away. Albeit home was very narrow, 19 points to 15 to them, and away 40 points to 29. So, what's the plan ahead of this week's game?
Well, we got there. We've got the same record in effect. We're slightly different on points, but we've both won 1, lost 2. So we're pretty even going into the weekend. It's a team respect massively. They're very powerful. They're very dangerous at home, and obviously they had an outstanding season last year where they nearly pipped Ampthill to the league title. So we're under no illusions of their quality. Again, like most teams, they're very powerful and they have a nice wide game when needed. Depending on what the weather does will depend on sort of how we approach the game, because if the weather's dry, we know we're a dangerous team, but we might have to alter things slightly if the weather comes in, because it's not quite sure what it's doing at the minute. But yeah, like we said, they're a dangerous team. Last season was on the end of two poor results. Well, not poor results, poor outcomes. Having looked at the performance was there. So the guys that are involved with last year's squad have good emotions of playing OEs, which is a good thing. Obviously not as good as theirs because they beat us twice, but we're going up there with no fear. We're really looking forward to the challenge, as I'm sure those guys are at OEs as well.
Yeah. The game against Rotherham at the weekend saw a couple of changes to the start. So bearing in mind it's the game tomorrow, is there any changes we can expect again for the squad this season?
There'll be a couple. We're still waiting on a couple of injury reports from last night's session. So as in regards to the starting team, we're about the same.
Yeah.
Thought Dan Powell, who popped into 13 last week, who's predominantly a 15, had an outstanding game. I'm really pleased with him. So looking forward to him, watching him go, and Josh Scousey seems to be getting better and better every week. And
incredible game.
He had a fantastic game, and our backline's working really well with Dan Mugford leading the way. So it's we're growing as a group, but we're not. It's going to take a bit of time to get where we want to get to, but this weekend's huge. It's every weekend's big, but this is a real test for us as a squad. Our last away trip, we went to one of the toughest places in the league at Cinderford, and we nearly nicked one there. So. We're going up there with confidence. We're going up there to win the game of rugby and show OEs what we're about.
Brilliant. Okay, well, once again, we all wish you the best of luck for Saturday tomorrow, and we hope it all goes well.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks, Ben.
Cheers.